no better time than now to purchase the truck of your dreams. So stop the search and call Mike Birch Ford today. Andrew Cuneo here. It's summertime in South Georgia, and the only thing hotter than being outside is the hot deals at Mike Birch Ford. With up to
Jesup Premium Storage, 1455 South First Street is Jesup's place to store your valuables. Whether it's running or between moves or just a place for the overload, call Jesup Premium Storage at 530-8003. That's 530-8003. Jesup Premium Storage units are indoor, climate controlled, and have 24 hours available and on-site management. You have those bus, trailers, and RVs. Jesup Premium Storage on the Crossway in Jesup.
Good big clock. And let's hear. World famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Mike Ford Black here by Jesup Premium Storage out here on Lake Cross Highway and by Murphy Builder Supply located on Northeast Front Street. Good morning, Bob. How's it going?
Good morning. I'm good.
A lot of talking going on last night at the Wayne County Commissioner meeting, right?
A lot of interesting discussion, that's sure.
Yes, sir. So bottom line is mills in Wayne County are going up by how much? 5, you said?
Just a tentative increase at this point.
Tentative increase to...
The proposals go up 5 bills.
They go up 5 bills. What do you mean by tentative? Like,
it's not written in stone.
It's not written in stone.
They still want to go over and see if there's ways they can possibly avoid a 5 mil increase.
It sounds like what the county administrator said, that he can't make payroll and pay bills unless he has more money coming in. Is that right?
Bottom line is kind of broke.
The bottom line is there's no money in the bank.
That's the lesson I got last night. Why is it broke? That's his question.
Sir, we don't want to be bailing checks all over town, huh?
Didn't get broke overnight. I mean,
we've been reporting this for years. You have about the financial situation the county is in. I mean, it's nothing in the news. It's been going on now for about 15 years, and we're paying the pipe now.
Other message I got, keeps talking about this opposition to the litigation side, but they lost all those lawsuits and it's not pay up. And the bills become due is what it looks like. That's the message I heard last night.
Are you talking about 30 bills or?
I'm talking about the people that want the lawsuit. Right
people
here.
What are they going to do that by increasing their taxes instead of actually paying the money? We're going to do it by saying, oh, you don't have to pay taxes this year, you don't have to pay taxes next year. I thought that's what they were going to do. I know you reported on that one time about what they said. That
I don't think that's the case. I think they want money.
Well, if you give money, then you just got to turn around and pay it back on taxes. So might as well just help the county out and say, all right, well, we just won't pay taxes until the amount's taken up.
They lost millions of dollars to lawsuits. Millions. Once Rainier won, Plum Creek jumped on. Now individual landowners jumped on. They lost all that. All those lawsuits were lost by the county. And sooner or later, you got to pay the bill.
You got to pay the bill, huh?
But apparently they don't have any money, so.
Okay.
But like I said, Mike Robert's in a bad spot. He's running for re-election, so he's dead set against it. Hickox isn't excited about it.
Well, Hickox, it sounds like wants to go over line by line item to see if he can reduce expenses.
But like Jeffrey said last night, they don't have time for that.
Yeah.
So the bottom line, they got to get the military done by September 1st. It's got to be submitted to beat on time. So they're under a time crunch. So they can have work sessions and try to crunch numbers, but they learned all this at the retreat. This is what the retreat was about. The retreat went, and he laid it all out there. They've all bragged about how they've learned more about the budget than they've ever learned in their life, which is hard to believe when you've been on there, James Thompson Shagrite, for how many years? 10, 12 years?
A lot longer than that.
You think they know the budget by then, but I don't understand it. But like I said, hopefully they can come in and explain it. But it was kind of a wow. I've heard 3 mils all this time. The only time I heard 5 was last week, and I thought somebody was dreaming. But anyway, that's the.
Did Ed say that a mill is worth less money today?
The mill keeps declining
because
because the county's not growing.
The county's not growing. That's right. So mill is worth less today because the county's not growing. Like, if it was growing, then mills would be worth more.
They said they have to wait for the numbers. The tax commissioner gives them the numbers, and they got the numbers over the weekend. So that was the proposal Monday night. They said they had them. They had to wait for the numbers before they can set the millage rate. You got to know what a mill brings in before you can set your budget. So they've got the numbers this past weekend. Like I said, the mill brings in Wayne County $716,529. That's what one mill brings in. So
$716,000, huh?
So in order for the county to make budget and payroll, the intended proposal was a 5 mil increase. So we'll see what the reaction is. I'm sure the school board and the superintendent not real happy because we already aired that where the superintendent pleaded with the county not to increase the millage rate because they know that'll have a major impact on the east Splost is up against.
Well, East Plus doesn't have anything to do with county taxes. I mean, it's a whole different ballgame. One's a sales tax, one's a property tax.
Still a tax.
Yeah.
You raise somebody's mill with $5 million, they ain't jumping up and down.
Well, it's a sales tax, and you have, in small communities like this, you have 65 to 70% of all retail dollars spent out of town. So if they're willing to go over to Glenn County and Chatham County and Ware County and Liberty County and pay that sales tax, why wouldn't they locally? If people want to change things around, buy here in Wayne County. That would make a big economic impact. Mill rate goes up, sales tax would go up, things would be a lot better. So every time you cross the county line and go buy something, then it hurts the county. And I know a lot of folks like going out of town shopping, or they can't find what they're looking for here, and you know, you kind of got to understand that. But just knowing the fact that every time you cross that county line and go shopping somewhere else, it hurts the economy of Wayne County.
The superintendent and the board know better than I do. Like I said, they didn't discuss it at their board meeting, begged them not to raise the millage if they didn't think it was going to hurt the East Lost. And Mike Roberts said again, he thought the $5 million increase would basically kill the East Lost. So we'll see how the vote goes. One thing about the vote in November, there's going to be a large turnout in November because you got the governor's race and all the other races statewide. So it's going to be a huge turnout, which is also something that probably hurts your. Normally when you throw a East Lost or Splost on there, you hoping it's the only thing on the agenda because but now that you got the governor's race and all these contested races, plus you got the Sunday alcohol sales in the city of Jesup, so it should be a huge turnout in November. A lot bigger than 17% in the primary, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. So the more people that go vote, the less chances, you know, most people don't vote themselves taxes. They don't jump up and down and say, hey, I want to vote myself a tax. So when you raise their, a lot of folks $5 million, it's going to be, like I said, I think they're going to have a tough sale on the East Lost. But we'll see how it goes.
Again, the East Lost has nothing to do with property taxes. It's a whole different ballgame there.
Tax is a tax.
Yeah, well, still, if people are willing to pay it out of town, why wouldn't they pay it in town? I mean, property taxes are going up anyway.
So such an easy sale, why are they worried about that?
Well, because it's perception. I didn't say it wasn't an easy sale. I didn't say it wasn't an easy sale. I'm just saying it's apple and oranges here.
We can run that.
I know. I agree with the perception of it. I agree with the public relations of it. I can understand why they're worried about it, but it's two different animals. But from a perception standpoint, for people sitting around a coffee table saying, well, tax is going up, so I ain't going to vote for that, I can understand that. You know, I can understand that, but you're still talking about apple and oranges here. Because you still, if you look at the economic numbers from small communities like Wayne County and Jesup and Odom Scriven, you've got 65 to 70% of all retail dollars are spent out of town, and you're going to go to counties who have these sales taxes, and you're helping their economy, you're helping build their schools, pave their roads, improve their infrastructure and stuff like that. And Wayne counties have shown the fact that they have voted the East Block and voted the one for the county and the one for the Board of Education over and over again because they can see the results. They can see the new schools. They can see the roads paved. They can see the infrastructure being built. A lot of times when you vote, when millage goes up, you don't see the results of that. But you do on the East Blocks. But I agree from a public relations standpoint, it's a nightmare. I understand that, Bob.
You say over and over, I believe the first East Blocks failed. Second East Blocks.
Well, the first East Blocks failed because that was eons ago, and it was the main thing was recreation. But since it's gone where it's more diversified and explained better, they have been voted yes ever since then.
You said they voted over and over.
Well, they have voted over and over again. We have one that failed, and the rest of them have passed. One failed back in 93, 4, 5, somewhere along there, and the rest of them have succeeded since then. Okay? So all the successes in one that did not pass because it was mainly for recreation, and people didn't want it just for recreation. So today, they're smart. When they do e-splashes, they do an array of projects that need to be done. And whether it's for the county or whether for the Board of Education.
It wasn't just for recreation. That's where they messed it up.
I said mainly. I didn't say totally. I said mainly.
If it would have been just for recreation, most people would have passed, but they threw everything else on. And that's what muddied the water.
I don't think that would have passed because it was mainly for recreation, and you heard a lot of folks say, well, I don't want to build a palace for the rec director at that time. I heard that all around town. I didn't want to build a palace for him. I heard that over and over again back then. And so, but since then, they the boards have become a little more smarter about how to get one passed. First of all, they usually have the e-splashes on their own very special election day, and it's usually the people who are not against it don't go vote, and people for it will go vote. Now it'll be on a general election with the governor race, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, and all those other state offices, and it presents more of a challenge. Does Bob knows when the T-Splosh goes out? We have no idea. I've asked politicians, elected officials, state officials, local officials, when does the T-Splosh go out? None of them have any idea. Some of them say, I don't know. Some of them say, I don't think it ever goes out. I don't know. But the T-Splosh, the transportation splosh, is what built the bypass over Highway 169 over here over the railroad tracks. And now it's going toward another project that we had on the news a while back. So when the T-Splosh goes out, I have no idea, and I have not had one elected official tell me if there's a definite end date, which is amazing to me.
I don't think there is an end date. I don't
know if there is an end date.
They voted in, just like when we voted for that senior exemption on school taxes.
But the thing about it is Wayne County voted against the T-Splosh. You know, it was a regional thing with several counties when the T-Splosh was passed 7 years ago, whatever the case may be. It was a regional thing. And for different parts of the, and only 3 regions in the state voted for it. The rest of the state voted against it. But our region, I don't know why these other counties voted for it, but they did. But we did not vote for the T-Splosh. But because we were lumped in with that group of counties, we were stuck with it. We did get the bypass out of it. They're going to use it for something else now. But Wayne County has voted against T-Splosh.
We've been a benefactor of it.
We've been a benefactor, yes.
Talk to a politician, they say it's a good thing for Wayne County.
But still, Wayne County voted against it. Yeah, it's been a good thing. We got that bypass over 169, and we're fixed to go to another, I can't remember what the project is, but it's going to be another big project that's going to go here in Wayne County.
You know why Wayne County voted against it? Because they don't want to vote for taxes, just like this.
No, they have voted for sales tax increases every single time, except for that one time back in the early 90s, and of course the T-Splosh situation there. But now we're benefiting from it.
I'm just going to be curious to see what the reaction at the school board meetings and where the county, if they're going to stick to their guns and go 5 mils. I mean, that was just that was a wow last night. I mean, like I said, for months I've heard 3 mil increase proposal. I never heard 5 mils until last week, and only heard that from one commissioner, and then did not realize that was going to be the proposal by the administrator.
Okay, someone said that the Walter Griffiths Bridge being redone was from the T-Splosh. And there's other projects around here that has to do with the roads and bridges and stuff that are benefiting from the T-Splosh.
I said, despite the fact that Wayne County voted against it, you talk to every politician that's involved, they say Wayne County's benefited from the T-Splosh.
Well, we have benefited. No, we voted against it, but we're benefited big time.
It's been a good thing for us.
It has been a good thing for us, just like the E-Splosh has been a great thing for Wayne County. We've got all these new schools from it. The county E-Splosh, county Splosh has been real good because we've got a lot of different projects done out of it. A sales tax is a lot more fair tax than property tax. And Wayne County has continued to vote for it over and over. But I can understand from a public relations standpoint, it's a very difficult thing that if people are paying more property taxes, they might want to decrease their sales tax by 1 cent. So then that's what you're doing. Out of $1, you're decreasing your sales tax 1 cent. But that 1 cent means millions of dollars for Wayne County. They can go to different things. And if the county or the Board of Education doesn't get that E-Splosh, or they don't get those, the Board of Education doesn't get that penny, guess what else? Then if they're going to meet the things that they have to do, their property taxes are going to have to go up. So do you want to pay property taxes, or do you rather pay 1 cent sales tax? Because you're going to do it when you cross the county line. If way over 60 to 65% of all somewhere in that area retail dollars are spent out of town by small communities, you're supporting Brunswick, you're supporting Savannah, all the rest of them. So it's a more fair tax. I'd rather see the E-Splosh being there than the Board of Education have to go up in property taxes to meet the needs they have to keep education on the level that we need to here in Wayne County.
Several people made the point last night when the school board was something budget crunches, they furloughed teachers. They had furlough days.
Yes, they did.
So they were asking, where is that proposal for the county? That could be a possibility, but that was discussion last night. A lot of people said when the Board of Education had their budget crunch, everybody took a hit and they just furloughed, which was a bad thing at the time. Hopefully they won't do that no more. But
we've got so many text messages coming in, Bob. It's hard for me to keep up. Right. It's hard for me to keep up with all of them because every time I read one, the screen moves and another one comes in. Okay, somebody wanted to know when the T-Splosh goes out. We don't know. Okay, that's what made it go up to 8%. From the 7%, it made it go up to 8%. It was the T-Splosh, but people can take a look at the stuff that it's done for Wayne County. Someone said, tired of tax increases. Eventually, you run out of other money. Need to be better stewards. And the thing about it is, we've had several county administrators. We've had, I'm doing the wrong thing here. We've had different county commissioners and so forth. And they all get in there and they think they're going to be the ones that are going to take a look at the budget and they're going to be able to save that money and they're going to be able to lower taxes and help the citizens out. But once they get in there and see the true reality, like Ed Jeffers has, and seeing the true reality of how bad things are, it takes a while to get out of it. And we know the history of the reasons why we're in this situation. It's just going to take a while to get out. You've reported on it now for years on why we're here. And it's just going to take. You can't blame this what they happen to do. If it's either that or not meet payroll and pay bills. But then, of course, you do what Commissioner Hickok says. You go in there and you get each department head. You get the budget for each department. You go line by line and say, where can we cut? What can we do to be able to save money? So we don't have to go up 5 meals. We can only have to go up 3 meals or 2 meals or something like that.
Yeah, it's a series of things. The reason there's not one thing.
There's several of them through the years. Yeah, there's been several of them through the years.
Like they said, they kept the millage rate pretty much stagnant for the last 10 years as well.
Yeah.
So the millage rate's been, most people raise it a meal every year because it's just like a cost of living increase. But the fact that they kept it then, plus they've lowered it several times. So you add that to all the other stuff, bad management, lawsuits, the list goes on and on. The county's not growing. That's the thing that Jeffers keeps stressing, that, in order for us to get out of this, the county has to grow.
The county has to grow. It's a shop right here in Wayne County. It'll help us grow. I mean,
They have new industry, jobs. Like I said, that's what he said, open for business. But, in the past, we fought everything. We knew that history as well. We haven't been open for business. When people come, like they've talked about all the time, when you come by, you listen to the radio station, you read the newspaper, you see all the conflict and all the anti-business. It's hard to get business.
We just had one of our elected officials say they think it's 10 years on the T-Splosh. Okay, so 10 years is what they think is on the T-Splosh. So it should be going on for long.
Somebody's got to have that answer.
Yeah, somebody's got to have it. I haven't found one yet. I mean, I've asked all around. Every time I say, what's the T-Splosh? I don't know.
Blake Tillery.
I mean, none of them.
Our state representative should know that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it's voted in, so they should know what the time frame is. It shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Call Blake Tillery or Bill Werkheiser or one of those guys. They should know exactly when the T-Splosh ends. But I thought it was one of those things that, like I said, once you vote it in order to change it, you got to vote it out.
Yeah,
that's what I understood it to be.
So what you're saying a moment ago is and we reported on this over the last several years, is the fact that you're saying that the Wayne County commissioners have not really raised the millage rate or even lowered it through the years, and now with the mills being worth less, each mill is worth less because the county's not growing. It's put us in a financial bind. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's part of it. Part of it when you don't increase the millage rate at all. And like I said, sometimes they've lowered it. Due to political reasons, when you're out there campaigning, hey, I'm going to lower your millage rate. That sounds good. But, I said, there's just a laundry list of things that have added to this thing. But I said, it'd be best to have those commissioners come in and explain it better than I can.
Yeah, we can't really explain it.
I've got more from the meeting tomorrow. Like I said, where Jeffers, I thought he laid out pretty well in the presentation last night. I mean, he lists all the reasons why where we're at.
Right. Well, Well, folks, before, make an opinion about this, take a look at all the different facts on it, and it's hard for people to do that. Someone just texted in, we haven't lost a suit with individual landowners. The only hearing on that has allowed them to go forward with the suit and try to get a refund. So I guess that's still going forward from what this text is right here. Another one is, we haven't lost a suit with Weyerhaeuser. We're going into mediation and try to come to a settlement to avoid legal fees. So that's still going on. And this says, if the county and the city will stop keeping companies from coming in to our city, people will stop going out of town shopping or eating. I don't know how that's related, but that's their thoughts on that. I guess what they're saying is we've fought against some of the industry coming in town, but still doesn't mean you can't go shop the retail stores here in town. So I'm just saying, if folks want the economic situation of our county to be better, do most of your shopping right here in Wayne County, and that would help tremendously if you did most of your shopping in so many levels. Instead of most of it being spent out of town. And that's what I try to do. I mean, you can't do it all the time because we don't have everything here, but do your best to try to do that, and that will really help the county with its tax base. And so, I guess you will continue to follow this story and
see what the reaction is.
Like you said, it is tentative. The $5 million increase is tentative.
Not written in stone just yet. They're going to try to see if they can crunch, but I don't know where they can crunch. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, but that's the 10-day millage rate increase, 5 mils for the county.
Someone just texted in, digest would go up if property was evaluated fairly. That's somebody's opinion right there.
Somebody asked the question too, when's the last time they reevaluated property? It's been a long time.
Well, that's when we started in with all these problems. Is some of the property out there and some of these big corporations and landowners was way over evaluated, and then the lawsuits happened, and the big companies and landowners won, and timber companies won. Timber companies and the big corporations won, and that's when all this started. Is when apparently that's when I see it started. Whether it did or not, that's when we started having a lot of problems. Whether it was or not, I have no idea. Someone said, so how about them dogs? Yeah, let's get off taxes and let's get on football. Oh, he says budgets have been cut for the last 5 years in county departments. And let's see here, what else we got here? It says the last commission board dropped the millage rate right before they left office, 3 mills at one time. You can't do without that. 1 mill accounts for, well, it used to be $1 million. Now it's $714,000. That's how much. We just need the county to grow. We just need the county to grow, which attract more business, attract more industry, and people do more of their retail shopping right here in Wayne County. And try to get past all this mess that we've been in for the past, 10 years.
City Jusup's in good financial shape. Board of Education in good financial shape. Yeah. It's more than just things that happen. It's called bad leadership. That's what it's called, in my opinion.
And like you mentioned a second ago, there's a lot of factors that go into it.
I said Herschel and Hickox and Roberts just got there. I mean, they haven't been on there that long.
Right.
But some people have been there forever. And some of the leadership that they've hired.
Well, you take you depend upon your hired person to take care of it, the county administrator.
So that hasn't helped. We talked about the tag situation. The state's done some things that's hurt the budget as well. But it's been an ongoing. We just didn't get here overnight. It's been a process that's taken place over the last several years.
Yeah.
But if you're Mike Roberts and you're running for re-election, the last thing you want to hear is, hey, we're going to raise your millage 5 mills. So you can tell why he's not excited about it.
None of them want to do it. I mean, I've talked to each one of them individually. Nobody wants to raise the mills. I mean, they're sitting there just, fretting of having to raise mills. But you got your county administrator saying, if you want me to meet payroll, if you want me to be able to pay the bills without check balancing, we've got to do something now. And it could be a temporary situation and then go back. Like I said, the last board, once they got to a certain situation, they reduced the mills by 3. And but now, because mills being worth less and other things going on, we're having to go up.
The saddest thing to hear last night is there's no cash reserve.
No cash reserve, huh?
Go back when County Administrator Mike Deal left and see what the cash reserve was at that time. Where'd all that money go? I mean, you got to have money for a rainy day, especially in your county government.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of unanswered questions.
It's a very complicated subject with a lot of different factors in there. A lot of people pointing fingers. There's just, I mean, if you take a look at what you've reported on the last 10 years on these county commissioner meetings, commission meetings, and put it all together, it kind of tells a story of how we got where we are.
And you can't overlook the fact that they had this town hall meeting when the county wanted to pass their SPLOST, okay? Let's not forget that. It took place at the airport.
Right.
All the community leaders, we're going to kumbaya, we're going to work together.
Right.
And they asked the Board of Education to step aside and let the county pass their SPLOST first.
Right.
And then we'll get behind your SPLOST 110%.
Right.
Don't do anything to hurt it. Well, guess what? A 5 mil increase ain't going to help it.
No.
So that's what's going on here. I mean, if they're all going to work together,